Continuing with the Supreme Court, once again, the first candidate to answer this next question will be candidate Bender. Last year, the Supreme Court overturned a lower court in the District of Columbia versus Heller, striking down the D.C. gun ban. The Supreme Court held that the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution protects an individual's right to possess a firearm for private use. Please describe your understanding of the Second Amendment.
Well, I think that the Supreme Court was exactly right. They upheld the standard, which was to uphold the law and not write the law. And the Second Amendment is very clear. It's a one-sentence amendment, and it finishes with the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's rather unambiguous. It doesn't say anywhere but Washington, D.C. This applies to all Americans. So the lower court was wrong, and fortunately we had justices that were there to uphold the law. Now going back to Sonia Sotomayor, Ricci versus De Stefano was a case in Hartford involving firefighter qualifications. And this was one of the examples that was used to show that Sonia Sotomayor followed her empathy rather than followed the law. And it's one thing to say, I wouldn't have nominated her to the court, but you did say that you would have voted to approve her. And that's not the standard that we want. You have to, mistakes in the Supreme Court, because these are lifetime appointments, mistakes last for a lifetime. So we have to be very careful that we don't put people on the court that either don't understand the law or don't have a track record, a judicial track record of upholding the law. And so this is what I think we have to do.
I can. Last year, the Supreme Court overturned the lower court of District of Columbia versus Heller, striking down the D.C. gun ban. The Supreme Court held the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution protected an individual's right to possess a firearm for private use. Please describe your understanding of the Second Amendment.
27 words. I don't know how many people in here have a gun. The 27th Amendment applies to all of us. The 27th Amendment and those 27 words, which I don't need to look up in my Constitution, are critical because they speak of freedom and liberty. You remember that small government that I believed in, that I believe so consistently in? The Second Amendment is at the heart of it. It tells our rights, which cannot be taken away. No matter how inconvenient some people may find them, they're our rights. They're inalienable. And it speaks to whether you own a gun or whether you don't. It's about freedom. It's about liberty. That's the critical component of that. So that's why I believe that the Constitution is a limiting document and not a living document. Thank you.
Candidate Lamontagne. I'd like to repeat the question if you'd like.
Thank you for the question. The Supreme Court actually got something right in that decision, and that is that under the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms is an individual right. I don't know if you remember, but a lot of the liberals were arguing that the Second Amendment only protected the ability of the state to have a militia. They wanted to deprive us of the right to bear arms, which is a fundamental right. Your ability to protect yourself and your property is fundamental. And the Constitution, in that case, demonstrated why it is as a document, it's a supreme law of the land intended to protect us from government. An effort by the District of Columbia to overreach, overregulate. I'm very honored to have the support of gun owners across our state, former State Representative Stretch Kennedy, owner of Bradley's Gun Shop, Ralph D'Amico, people around the state who understand that I am a gun owner, I'm a hunter, and I believe in the Second Amendment. And I think it's an important right. It's an important right of law-abiding citizens. It's an important right of American citizens, and it ought not be denied. So I support that decision, and I support the expansion of the Castle Doctrine to the extent we need it. In New Hampshire, the ability to protect private property, our homes. And that's the kind of America we want to continue to be in, one that respects individual rights, including the right to bear arms. Thank you.
And candidate Kelly Nihai.
As Attorney General, I signed on to an amicus brief supporting the proposition, the Heller decision, that there's an individual right to bear arms under the Second Amendment on behalf of the state of New Hampshire, and I was proud to do that. And there's another very important decision that was recently heard by the Supreme Court, which is equally important to the Heller decision, and that is coming out of Chicago, which is, does that right apply to the states? And when I was Attorney General, I signed on to another amicus brief on behalf of the state of New Hampshire. I was proud to do it, to say, yes, absolutely, the individual right to bear arms applies to the states. Of course it does. And as AG, I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I'm the only Attorney General in the Northeast to sign on to a letter to Attorney General Holder when he came into office to say, do not reinstate the assault weapons ban. And one of the things I had to do as AG is actually look at people who have exercised their Second Amendment rights and clear people in that situation. We had a case in Dover where someone broke into someone's house, a criminal, and that homeowner had to kill the criminal to protect his house, and I cleared him. So I very much appreciate the Second Amendment and have actually had to exercise the Second Amendment. And here in New Hampshire, it's so important because we've also put it into our state constitution. We've expressly put in our state constitution that there is an individual right to bear arms, and that's how important it is to us here. And I will make sure, as a United States Senator, that I vote to uphold your Second Amendment rights. And one thing that I will support that is very different than Senator Shaheen is the right to carry concealed permits. In other words, the respect for each state across state lines. She voted differently on that bill. I would have voted for that bill.